small world is because it is actually, there just isn't enough processing power to render 7 billion consciousnesses. There are not 7 billion consciousnesses. Yeah, there might be 7 billion in the general algorithm of how many people are on Earth, but when you start talking to people, there's probably like a couple 100,000 AIs that are serving as the substrate for the, people experience that everyone's having on Earth. So when you find that the same people are 6 degrees of separation, it's not a surprise at all. In fact, it's a flaw in the system. And that's just a limit of the actual processing power of the machine that the sim's running on.
Well, have you ever encountered...
Not on a ball floating through space.
I mean, you encounter them all the time when you're walking down the street and you don't interact with people. Like, it's just like in a video game. There's much less processing power being attributed to the automatons. But once you start interacting, then something has to actually serve as the intelligence behind that so-called, human.
Society is rapidly secularizing. Religion is completely falling apart, and there's elements of that that are wonderful. I think religion plays an overly restrictive role in people's lives too often. Certainly, the religion I was raised in does. But I do know people from my childhood in a fairly evangelical Christian world who wanted to would have committed violent acts if only God wouldn't punish them for it. Why it takes God to do that as opposed to one's own honor and self-worth and love for the neighbor, I don't know. But that was the case, right? I believe that this thought, that we are living in a simulation, I think that is going to just increase in popularity. And for people who are content to see both sides of an argument and that doesn't split our heads in two, for people who are content to see shades of gray, I think that's a fine idea, because we don't, it doesn't change anything about my daily life necessarily. It shouldn't. So if I'm a simulation, okay. So if I was created by a creator God, okay. So if I'm a random sparking of cells, okay, fine. It doesn't change much about how I am living day to day. But there's a lot of people with very absolutist mindsets, and I think once you tell them, hey, you're a simulation, the nihilistic side of humanity, their first reaction will be, well, it doesn't matter what I do to anyone else, because I know that I'm real, and I feel it, but if there's no proof that they're real, then what's the point of laws? What's the point of all this,
Put over intent.
I do